I was born in New Delhi, and when I was a year old, we shifted to Varanasi. So that's where I grew up. I went to a Catholic school in Varanasi itself. Nobody decided to be born a Tibetan or a Tibetan refugee, for instance. So I think there shouldn't be this kind of this rigid notion of what being Tibetan means or what being pure Tibetan means. There is no way to define a Tibetan identity or any ethnic identity. For me, is more important is to make a tangible contribution towards the Tibetan community rather than performing any kind of rigid notions of Tibetanness or being Tibetan. The one thing that we lack is, in some way, lack of belonging to a physical space, I think. And that's what I think when I have my family of my own, that will constitute that I have a place to belong.
Purpose the Ngariang chapter, the Susu Peveric Shunda, and the Soa Gedan, the Susu Gedinyari, and Kumshira Kiadi. Nyema Pugana Jori, Peveganach, and Kurangangadus, Malaptomation, Kurangangadusunze, and Kisida Mount Karchaption, Susu Miril Pentops cheese, then. CHASA EMCHI chapter Nyema Droma Pearl to need to get in that Penima that some columns Yam Jibu Jumari, dead Juamang, Terry Desambania, Maret Niman is dead who na Haunza, in that the Tantanga seriously during Komza condition assembly. But still, TENZIN Hongu, Lusal, Shinjida, not today, that Lawachide did this about Kugopsilas Mboa.
Bonsoir tout le monde. Je m'appelle Jingjin Suyu. Je解释了啥的，两岸群居过的到啊处呢成都了去，那种去成都了就错啊给不的，看到巴黎了呀，巴黎是甜点整个月了。这是大部分人都会问我，因为本科学医，然后现在为什么学厨？因为我比较难表达我的爱，比如你旁问我那些那如果我那些就是看感的嘎不语是成意思的，嘴巴上面表达不出，但是我觉得学厨卡拉几岁，这是另外一种我的表达方式，没有特别确定的风格，怎么舒服怎么穿，一些特殊场合的话，可能会穿得稍微正式一点。那能就留啥吃不吃宽？I
always wanted to be a chef when I was younger. I just love cooking because I love food. Being a Tibetan is very, it's extraordinary. Honestly, I would love to stay permanent in Tibet. It's because I never saw Tibet in my life. I was born as immigrant. I'm immigrant all my life, so I want to go back to Tibet. I want to stay there forever. Of course, I live in Western, so I wear Western clothes normally. But I do love wearing Tibetan outfits in Tibetan functions. So every time there's a Tibetan function, I love to wear Tibetan outfits, and I do that.
drop ranch because you run theater. Nga juju gudune dual laser to yo the yigusia which ramachin that subda children and the labras madanche the shuban skateboard the laburs chan and the dish all yan shuban bedule denele double room doyan the source scale chesa chingada ngero bushi gejer chiser shangachi just pyrijin one in shashin da su Runeta, Jose Malaya, Pujet Quantum, Yabuami, the Purijiga Pujet Quan, Puri Imbe Dons Tunda.
我出生在拉萨，然后在成都长大。大学的时候去了温哥华念服装设计。对于身为藏族这个身份，我觉得就是接受到了来自于世界的更多的包容性。身为一个藏族，对于我的意义而言的话，我觉得因为可能跟我从事的专业有关系，最大的影响可能就是对颜色会有区别于就是普通其他人。包括从我家庭教育来说的话，虽然说藏族给人的大概印象都是很传统的，但是我觉得我的家庭观念一直都是很开放的。 今天我为什么选择这个包，是因为自己也很喜欢 GUCCI 这个牌子。我对于就是很多可能说限定，不一定说是限量，或者说是比较难买、比较独特的东西，都会非常的喜欢，然后没有办法去放弃它。什么风格的衣服我都会喜欢去尝试。然后藏装的话，可能就一年也就会在过年的时候，藏历年的时候会去穿。
I was born in Nepal in Kathmandu, and for most of my life I grew up in Amsterdam. To be born as a Tibetan, it means that you automatically grow up with a Buddhism way of living, like the Buddhistic philosophy. And I think as I grew up, I kind of struggled with all the philosophies and all the Buddhism ways that my parents told me, because sometimes it just kind of clashes with daily life or in the Western world. My Tibetan identity I define with materialistic stuff, I think, like jewelry, or even food, art. My mother is Tibetan from Lhasa. My dad is Chinese from Chengdu. Being a Tibetan gives me a huge advantage career-wise, because I can, for example, trade art and show it to the Western world, just like how I was small, I would tell them stories about where I come from. And it's a huge advantage. It's something to be very proud of, and it's something that not everybody has.
nga pöle kenye lesala ani chunju de suslera susle de chalongchera pöbe la di pöbe di chö da ani nangmi zedong di onde ke chomo da susle le du nga toji la tanda nma me le zui namju tulo da da simple in de kunguya ani pöje di kadu kungu mese le sa da TENJING da wende na onde de kungu
na chinju de abra de changsu de chue lo wa yin ge de ni nye bo da chog la ya sun de chog de ba dan da che ju de chang lo su sam lo yu che ni da nye su le ro sam lo de chue yang da cha ma le da chang lo chue bi le chue da chue ma sin da chang lo yo lo da che zan ju ne su su bi le ji de ni be le za chwa ge je de ni da chue lo wa yi ba cha cha le 소수 견나 라브라친 지게 라브라친 거와 신내래 간다 별 줄로 예주고 봐 나는 비 들어다 안 되면 소도 안 되지 하시는 단 디자인 별이 나가다 쉬는 상다 차체 단 lö사다 근데 먼저 최나로 lö사래 로가요 봐 근데다 내지도는 최저가도 최저 들어 먼저 근데 최나로 들어오는 거 I
was born in Lhasa in Tibet, and I moved to London when I was 10/11. I grew up in London, went to school here, and graduated from university in the UK. Before moving to Beijing for a few years, I went there to study Chinese and work, and now I came back to London and I'm a social entrepreneur. I run my own social enterprise called Art Represent. For me, at the essence of being Tibetan is just remembering what I learned from my mom and my grandma when I was growing up in Lhasa, and embodying those values and philosophies as I move through life. The way that we work nowadays, you can't be without your phone. You work across different time zones. I think the Tibetan identity now is being changed because of the diaspora, but also because of globalization and you know, the intermingling of cultures and traditions. I wear mostly, I guess, like smart casual clothing. Traditional Tibetan clothes, I obviously wear it for New Year's. But in the summer sometimes I find that it's really nice to wear a traditional Tibetan dress because it's very easy, and I think it's very flattering. You know, it's a part of my identity as well, so I like it. Yeah.
Michael Jackson 가 Michael Jackson 가 제 아스수의 심주 제 자부카리 메삼다 디스 규제 아니 다들나 저야 바비스 티에죠 나 let's give a look at the TENJING 주마 기계치가 돌아 아스수 랍자마 대과 롭주 줘 멤버 또 디레 하고 샤브르르야 디 삼도 쉬와 수수 가야 콜로는 디 넘류 funky 차보네 아니 표제 능다인도 최제들레 표제고 최제고 로사시와 말 참에 공부를
To identify myself as a Tibetan, I would say that not the look, but to know where you came from and to know about Tibet and your parents and everything, the history of Tibet, I think has a big influence on who I am as a person. I brought one of my favorite objects, which is the key tag at my workplace. I got a Chris Brown picture on my tag. It's because I really like Chris Brown and I think he's such a great singer. When I wear Tibetan clothes, that will be only when there's occasions going around, but sometimes I just wear it for fun. People can ask me where I'm from and where's my clothes coming from, so I can tell them about Tibet and stuff like that.
가시가 교수와 그 콜로긴자 아니고 아마 급자기 시작인데 가시는 부잡도 산지게 아니네 자마자라 거라 미상모 미기는 투모모 입라체 좋아서 인규화로나 체 근데 콜로 자마자라 콘카르마라 렘토르스테 아니는 너무 개개송아리가 너무 나 가르치네래 나왔던 가르치는 저야샤 미야오 전주월이 또다 소소 가르치니 주네지 도도 마시다 조르스리 니야 가르쳐 스타일스는 근데固定性교요마 배제 로살 팅 숨지고 근데 빙간데 이 오늘 댐제 축청브라요 상하다 드리브라요 삼상
I was born in the eastern part of Tibet. Then when I was 13, I left Tibet. I came to India to study for my high school studies. At the moment, I'm studying on Tibetan and Himalaya studies. The modern Tibetan history by Marvin Goldstein. But I don't accept the points, the views of Marvin Goldstein. But the important thing is he is one of the most important Western scholar in modern Tibetan history. So that is very important for Tibetan people to know and to understand what other people think about modern Tibetan history. What do means being a Tibetan is a sense of belongingness to your community or to your country or to your people. In exile, in the diaspora, the very nature in every day is difficult, it's also complicated. For normal dress, I don't have a specific style and a choice. I wear whichever is comfortable.
My name is ZURICH. I am graduated from a language school and my major is English. And I like doing makeup, this kind of heavy makeup. And I have participated in like a drag trade. Actually, I came out very first, like in my middle school, I told my parents that I'm gay. I am like not that different. I am the same. The experience of love. I want to spend my rest of my life in Thailand because there are a lot of pretty boys. I'm not that care about like style because I think that confidence is my style. I want to tell Tibetan people that there are a lot of gay people in Tibetan society, but some people didn't came out because they didn't feel like safe. They didn't feel that they can be accepted in their family. So I think that I didn't want to show how different we are. I want to show that how same we are the same. So I think that there is still a long journey we have to go.
And I'm a second generation Tibetan living in London. It's difficult because our community It's quite spread out. I never grew up around Tibetan people, and if I did, I would only see them a couple times. I actually used to disidentify myself with Tibet because of the society I lived in, and so that was a bit of a struggle, even though it was a culture that I wasn't surrounded in. I grew up in a pretty diverse neighborhood, but no one was Tibetan. But it wasn't until I moved to London where I got to meet young Tibetans, mixed heritage Tibetans as well, because I'm half Tibetan, half Scottish. And it was this deep need inside me to really connect back with my culture. I only wear tuba to formal occasions. I don't think that I could really rock a tuba out to a party in London, but I will definitely wear it to like a wedding.
I was born in India, like near Bangalore, and I grew up here, came here when I was 14. Yeah, pretty much. Went to school here, college here, but never went to uni. Yes. Now I'm just working at Wagamama as a bartender. Yeah. I'm proud to be Tibetan, but it's a bit annoying as well because not many people know like where Tibet is. And I want to go to America. Yes, definitely. Probably Las Vegas because I like nightlife. I normally wear like tracksuit, athletic stuff. Yeah, man. The only time I wear tuba. Yeah, probably in Losar, New Year, but just the top though. I don't really wear the whole dress.
Na ndepegi America style barber tangbut trashajeloni na tangbut janga dumisdo nang hango sans ran harsan butos ine para de mitten de stu nane mutun da gap goshna shi digal ngares mishuchi ngare digal le digal kashinche ima puri bashan just trangas de kwa meba 망체 다 내리다 차체 플레무다 ande tarmuda ande kyagya andu 플레무다 ande tareveso sam shimo gyakset ine ani tingdu da dwale da chubeso chu bangje 로 답대본데 그런다 자식이한테 그걸로라 자들 바짱마시 assembly use 쇼방은 급자선데 다 링네로 가부이산셰 연맥인 좋아 저 셰스 내가 마이스 감래 아니 로살미시
Since I was born and raised in Switzerland, I don't have a real Tibetan side, but I try to not only look like a Tibetan, so I try to speak fluently Tibetan with my parents. I try to be not only a European girl just looking like a Tibetan. My mother was very strict, so she told me every time to study hard, to get a good job. That's why I studied very hard, and now I have a good job at the real estate management. Daily I wear like office outfits like this, but I like to wear Tibetan dress, but it's not like in Tibet. We usually don't go out with this outfit.